let's move on to the insurance space. We have the management of life insurance major Max Life Insurance joining in. It's been a strong year for the company so far, growing at almost double the industry growth rate. Yes, Shaina, colleague, is also here with us to take the conversation forward with the management. Mr. Prashant Tripathi, the MD and CEO of Max Life Insurance, joins in.
Well, Rima, as you rightly pointed out, a very strong quarter for Max Life so far. Just in the month of December, the premium is up about 30%, double the industry growth. And to talk about the premium growth and more, we have the management, in fact, the Managing Director and CEO of Max Life, Mr. Tripathi, joining us. Sir, thank you so much for taking the time out. Let's start talking about your financial performance. Your premium growth, as I said, in the month of December is just about 30%. Now, help me understand, how do the first 9 months of financial year 19 look for the company as far as premium growth is concerned? What's the quality of the new business element out of this? And for the complete financial year, how do you see both these parameters working out for the company?
So at the end of December, which is first 9 months, we are on APE basis, we are growing 21%. Our value of new business growth is about 37%. The return on embedded value is close to about 18.8%, and our margins, net overruns, are close to about 20.4%. So that's the first 9 months. As we finish the year, I'm hoping that our growth numbers should be a bit higher than first 9 months, which means we should be growing faster in quarter 4 than the average of first 9 months. And it looks to me that we will be growing in the range of about 23 to 25% on APE basis. Our margin forecast is between 20.5 to 21%, and our ROE we should be close to about 20%. So across all parameters, we should register very robust growth, and this also comes the back of an industry growth, which is for the first 9 months is 11%. So we are growing almost double the rate of industry growth on new APE basis. So our overall performance appears quite robust. I'm very happy that we are gaining market share, and for quarter 4, my sense is that that trajectory will continue.
Sir, if you talk about this strong growth, of course, Bancassurance network for distribution has contributed majorly to it. Help us understand which are your 3 topmost Bancassurance partners, and what is the individual contribution which you get right now from all those 3 Bancassurance networks?
So basically, our 3 top bank partners are Axis Bank, Yes Bank, and the Lakshmi Vilas Bank, which is a much smaller bank than the first 2, and collectively they contribute about 2/3 of our sales. About 33% of our sales as per the 9 months disclosures comes from our own channels, and we are out looking to increase the share of our own channels in the total mix and take it in the range of about 35 to 40% in next 2 to 3 years time.
Sir, of course, a strong Bancassurance push for you. 2/3 of your business comes from Bancassurance, and Axis Bank particularly plays a very strong role here. But now, of course, the market is quite jittery when it comes to the partnership with Axis Bank. Your Bancassurance partnership expires in 2021. Has there been any sort of conversation with Axis Bank when it comes to extending that partnership? What are the conversations which are going on between the 2 parties at this point of time? Do we see it extending, or would you have to find a new Bancassurance partner?
These are, strategic matters for the organization, and we continue to, review them time to time to make sure that, the overall, elements of, business growth, partnership management are kept in mind while, initiating these discussions. And, when we have any progress to share with you, we'll come back and talk to you.
Okay. Another development as far as, again, with Axis Bank is concerned, there are certain reports which suggest that there are initial conversations between Max Life as well as Axis Bank when it comes to Axis Bank picking up a majority stake in Max Life. Help us understand, has there been any sort of conversation between the 2 partners at this point of time? And would you consider Axis Bank as a potential acquirer when it comes to that majority stake?
The answer is no.
Okay, thank you so much for sharing insights as far as the financials as well as other corporate happenings are concerned. But the top takeaway is the management very clearly saying that they would look to add 100 to 200 basis points of protection products every year to their portfolio, which they expect will take the margins to 20.5 to 20%. Of course, by end of FY19, the management very clearly saying that they expect a growth of 23 to 25% on their premium front, which is the annual premium equivalent. But with that, it's back to you in the studio.
Thanks, Yash, for that. Just keep your eye on names like a Vodafone Idea. So that's seen a sharp downturn. It's down about 1.5%, but not coming through as we speak. And Manappuram General Finance too has slipped from the highs of the day.
Come back and let's take a look at commodities now, where we have seen the crude oil prices continue quite volatile. Remember, we started the day on the weaker note, taking cues from what happened in New York session after the US production hit a record high of 12 million barrels per day. But since then, there has been some buying which is coming back, and 57 is back on US crude and 67 is back on the Brent prices as well. Well, there are expectations that we might hit a demand number of 100 million barrels per day in this year itself. So that's a strong number. If you don't look at the US production, you would have seen the crude oil prices much higher from where they are right now, because we have seen involuntary cuts. The demand estimates or the incremental demand expectations are higher for 2019. So those are some of the supportive factors, and that perhaps is what really seems to be working for the crude oil prices right now. Up 25% in 2019 is where we are holding that sector as. Joining us now is an expert to talk further about the commodity strategies. Himanshu, hi. What is your sense on the crude oil prices to begin with? Are you expecting buying to come back as we've seen in the global markets already happen?
Hi, Manisha. Good afternoon. Well, clearly, as you mentioned, that the markets are actually not shrugging off because of this US production numbers, and the momentum is still intact. I think ever since the markets have broken above $55, $56 on the WTI, the momentum is on the high side, and I expect it to further test levels of 58 and 60 before coming down. So as far as the trading strategy is concerned, on the MCX, we recommend going long around 4,070, 4,060 odd levels, keeping a stop loss below 4,030. And I think in the intraday session only, we can expect prices hitting 4120 to 4150 mark.
Himanshu, also with the US and China trade talk slated to conclude today, and there are some final agreement, talks coming out, that there are perhaps 6 key factors where we might see an understanding of memorandum actually go through. How are the metals taking this in? Will we need to see some more concrete, conclusion before you start buying in, or are we working well with this?
I think base metals are looking pretty nice, and they are pretty well placed, and we have been witnessing some kind of up move in most of the metals from last 2 trading sessions. Talking about a metal like copper, which has some strong fundamentals where the supply disruptions due to heavy rains have also supported the prices, and at the same time the deficit is also supporting the prices. So I think most of the metals are looking nicely placed, and the momentum is on the high side. As far as the trading strategy is concerned, I think I would recommend to go long in copper around 454, 455 odd levels, keeping a stop loss below 453, and I think 462 to 465 is the targets that I'll be looking for. Apart from copper, nickel is also looking good for me to intraday buying perspective. I think 930, 935 levels can be expected in today's session itself.
Point taken. One final question, and this one is on precious metals, and 5 to 6% up for the gold prices, even with that kind of profit taking that we've seen in last couple of sessions. At these current levels, at 33,500 kinds for the Indian markets, what's your strategy on this?
Well, I think from an investor and a trader's perspective, this is a very good opportunity to enter fresh long positions. I think prices can come a little bit lower from current levels. $13.15, $13.20 on the COMEX would be the support level, and on the Indian markets, I think 33,200 to 50 zone is the level where you should be again starting to enter long positions. So I'll be looking to go long on declines toward 33,200 with the targets of 33,700 and a stop loss below 33,000. I think the bull run in the gold is still intact, and this is an opportunity to enter into the long positions once again.
Himanshu, Manisha, thank you very much for joining in. With that, it's curtains down on halftime report. Stay tuned. Business Lunch will take the market action forward.